Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2015, a voter education program sponsored by the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. My name is Angie Whitcomb, and I am joined today by current City Councilman and mayoral candidate Mike Luce. Mike, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you spending some time with our viewers. Why don't we start this off by you giving a brief introduction and history of yourself and tell them why you're running.
The reason I'm running is I think I can do a better job than any of the other candidates. I'm very blunt with things, I guess some people say. I don't sugarcoat things when I speak about them, and I find that to serve me the best. I think I'm one of only 2 members of the City Council who are trying to hold down taxes. I think the rest are just spend, spend, spend. They give big money to big companies, and little companies in town, mom and pop stores, have to pick up the tax burden. That's not fair. And I'm also very transparent. I'm very much for full disclosure when we can. Companies that come to town lately are looking for anonymity until they put forward a project, and I find that a little troubling, but I understand where they're going. And we deal with it, and we've got some things in the works that aren't able to be spoken about yet, but I think we got some surprises coming down the pike.
Great. Well, Mike, in your view, what is the most pressing issue facing our city in the next year? And if elected as mayor, how will you work to address it?
The most pressing issue is the community center without a referendum. Having this shoved down the people's throats is not a good idea. I just learned yesterday that this project has risen to a $50 million project over 20 years. That's $2.5 million a year we're going to have to take out of the city budget, and that's going to just put a lot of people out of their homes. I just don't understand why they want to do this without a referendum. Get the people's input, let them do their thing. It's very troubling to me that they want to do this the way they're doing it. The bond deal that they're working right now, that you saw in the paper, where they have a line around the community center, that line, most people think that the people inside that circle are going to be the ones on the hook for it. The whole city is on the hook for it. You need to really sit down, come down to the council meeting when they give us the details on it. You'll better understand it. It's a real poor way to do it. We've never had a bond over $10 million in Shakopee, and they want to do a $50 million bond. That's ridiculous.
So if elected, Mike, what 3 concrete actions would you take to enhance the health and the prosperity and the future of the business community?
First thing I will do is reverse anything that I do not see just for the people of Shakopee that the 3 are trying to force. The second thing I will do is work to lower taxes, which will help everyone with their quality of life. Businesses will be able to afford things better. They won't have money taken out of their coffers. They won't have to raise their costs. That's the best thing we can do, is keep taxes low. Businesses will be able to afford things better. They won't have to cut back staff. They won't have to raise the cost of their goods. They raise the cost of their goods, people are going to go shop somewhere else.
So you've sort of addressed this, but I'm going to ask the question really directly. Whose interests should matter the most when the council is making decisions?
Ultimately, I serve the citizens of Shakopee. They are my boss. They pay the taxes, and if we don't answer to them, who do we answer to? The people that I talk to say that what's going on right now is just too crazy to be true. And in the future, very short future, we're all going to feel it if this stuff goes forward.
So if someone were considering moving their family or their business to Shakopee, what would you, as a current city council member or as mayor if elected, say to them to convince them that this was a good move?
Well, we have a very low crime rate. We have an award-winning police department. They've forged alliances with all the different groups around the diverse community that we have. I've done ride-alongs with the police department. I believe the officers I rode with, and I believe most of the others, have very good attitudes towards the people that they're serving. They aren't out there just to give you a ticket. They're out there to protect us. They're out there to serve when necessary. If they stop you, there's a reason they're stopping you. They're not out there just to pull you over for fun. Like I say, with the ride-alongs I've done, some of the stuff that I've seen, it's unbelievable. We have a very diverse community. If you name it, the nationality I believe is here, and they're all working together. We have a diversity alliance in town, which works very well with people. We have a large job opportunities in town. We have a number of good restaurants. I won't name them because I'm sure I'll forget somebody. We have job opportunities for people to start jobs, start companies. It's very, we've got any kind of fast food restaurant you want to think of if that's what you're into. Our school system is got test scores that are moving upwards continually. We've got very good schools. The buildings are all fairly new. We've got an addition coming to the senior high that's going to be very needed and very welcomed. But in the end, I would tell anybody moving to Shakopee with all the great things we have to offer, I would say be cautious. At this point in time, with the community center thing coming down, you got to be very cautious, because if you're thinking of moving here, your taxes are going to increase dramatically. If you wait a year or two, you're going to find very good prices on homes, because there's going to be a number of people forced out of their homes.
In closing, Mike, why don't you tell our audience why you think you're the best candidate for this job?
I'm totally in tune with what's going on in town right now, as much as I can possibly be. I know there's some things going on that have been kept from 2 members of council from the other 3. But that's something we have to work with. I've lived here all my life. I was born and raised here. This is home to me. I'm not leaving. I have the ability to put in whatever hours are needed to do this job as mayor. Some say it's a full-time job. It needs to be. I don't believe it is, but if that's what it comes down to, I will put in the time that's needed. A full-time mayor would be a complete distraction for staff. I mean, you'd be down there micromanaging, and that's not a good thing. We have a very good staff. They know what they're doing. They're all professionals. I rely on them at this point for all the information we get. I do go outside the box and look for things to get information from that staff doesn't bring to us. And it's not they're trying to do anything wrong. It's just I look outside the box to see different things, and they don't have the time to do all of that. We work very well together. I've asked all of them to respect my wishes of just referring to me as Mike, not council member. I think that's a distraction for them. I think we work better when we're on a first name basis. There's a number of them that have thanked me for that. They thanked me for standing up for them when others have disrespected them, treated them in a way that they shouldn't be. Some people think that they're pawns. I don't believe that. I firmly believe they are here to assist us. They do a very good job. Trying to think of all the rest of the stuff here. They work very well for our city, and I believe that I work very well with them. I've maybe said a few things that have turned some people off. I do tend to be short with things. I don't sugarcoat stuff, but the few voters that I lose with that, I hope I gained a whole lot more with the fact that they know I'm not playing games here. This is for real. I'm going to do whatever I can to fill this job, and as mayor, that's the best I can tell you. Is I'm going to do everything I can. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Meet the Candidates 2015. As always, please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org to get all of the information you'll need for the upcoming election, including polling locations and times.